Hey YouTube, welcome back to the channel. It's Jamar from Vegas Sense, and in this video I'm giving my final thoughts on Paris Corner's Killer Oud Nights of Arabia. Alright, so do me a favor, go ahead and stick through to the whole video, and also to anyone brand new, go ahead and do me a favor, go ahead and subscribe to the channel. Also leave a like and a comment on the video. And to anyone watching, I do have my discount code VegasSense10. I'll have that over here, and this is going to be the same discount code for Triple Traders, Banadier Fragrance, and also the Oud store. All right, so again, that's going to be VegasSense10 to get 10% off of any purchase that you make for those three websites. All right. So just to get straight into this video, again, this is going to be Nights of Arabia under the Killer Oud line from Paris Corner. And this is Paris Corner's take on Byredo's Black Saffron. And Black Saffron to me is a very sort of underrated scent. I don't really see too many people talking about Black Saffron by Byredo. I do have the sample of it here. And, you know, wearing these two sort of back and forth, this is definitely, it's like I said, it's a very underrated scent. In my opinion, it does have a lot of versatility, you know, in terms of, you know, you can wear it on, I would say, a date night, really in just about any sort of season, except for, I probably wouldn't necessarily wear this in like the, you know, the high heat in summer. But I would say outside of that, you know, fall, winter, spring, this is definitely going to be a nice choice, you know, for dates. I would say this is probably going to be a nice all year round sort of work fragrance, especially if you work in like a, you know, climate controlled environment. This is going to be perfect. You know, I would say this particular scent profile. And what I get, at least from the Killer Oud Nights of Arabia when compared to the Black Saffron, is even though the Black Saffron, it does smell slightly higher quality and I would say it is slightly better blended, I actually still prefer the smell of the Nights of Arabia from Paris Corner. And the reason that I prefer the smell of this is this has more so of like a fruitier sort of touch to the fragrance that makes it, you know, sort of fruity and fresh. Whereas the Byredo Black Saffron, in my opinion, is a lot more leathery. And I would say it is a little bit heavier on the saffron than what the Paris Corner fragrance is. Now, I would say that makes the Paris Corner fragrance about, you know, probably 85% close or so to Black Saffron. But I think it's done like that on purpose. You know, just going back to what I mentioned in like my sort of first impressions video of this fragrance, when you first spray this on, you get a much larger and sweeter dose of like the black currant and citrus notes up top. And I mean, at least for me, it just makes the fragrance just a lot more enjoyable. Now, that blast of, you know, sweet sort of black currant that you get, it's almost sort of jammy, I would say, in the Paris Corner fragrance. Yeah, it comes off as being really sort of jammy, whereas when you spray the Byredo Black Saffron on, you do get the black currant as well, but I would say it's more of sort of like a balanced sort of blend of, you know, the citruses, the black currant, and sort of like, you know, the saffron and leather. So yeah, the Byredo is nowhere near as sweet as what the Paris Corner is. I would say the Byredo, it definitely smells a lot more sort of like on the mature side. But, you know, at the same time, again, the Byredo is definitely, it's a lot better blended, I would say. This is just more so kind of heavier on, you know, I would say the sweet sort of black currant and citruses up top. Now, once the Paris Corner starts to dry down, it does definitely get, you know, a little bit closer to the Byredo. But I would say that sort of fresh fruitiness that you get from the Paris Corner, that sticks around throughout the whole life of the fragrance and just gives this, I would say, a little bit more sort of youthful, or sort of, you know, almost sort of more playful sort of approach on the scent DNA. Whereas the Byredo, like I said, is definitely a little bit more sort of mature, a little bit more serious, and I would say less fresh and sweet. All right. So in terms of performance, these two perform, I would say, equally as well. I get, you know, like next day performance pretty much with both of these. I would say that the Byredo, at least for me, the way that it comes across, and, you know, I think it's just the emphasis on, you know, the heavier emphasis on leather as opposed to like kind of like fresh citrus that you get with this. The Black Saffron, at least for me, it becomes a little bit more sort of headache inducing if you overspray the Black Saffron. Whereas with the Paris Corner, I would say the Paris Corner fragrance is still just as strong. It might even be slightly stronger than the Byredo, but at least for me, it doesn't necessarily give me like that same sort of headache inducing sort of feel if I overspray this one. All right. So, I mean, it's going to be 12 plus hours with both of these fragrances on skin. And obviously, you know, you're going to get a lot longer than that if you spray them on clothes. But yeah, both of these are really solid performers. And then also in terms of like the projection is pretty solid on these two fragrances as well, at least for probably like the first 2.5 to 3 hours or so. So at least on me anyway, I get very good projection and longevity out of both of these fragrances. Like I said, just at least with me, this is going to be more of like a twist, and it is going to be more of sort of like a fresher, fruitier sort of twist on this scent profile. So I would say if you're someone that is not necessarily like that big on leather fragrances, but you know, you maybe want to try out some sort of, you know, sexy leather fragrance that maybe you can wear like on a date, or that you can wear to work or something like that, then I would say that this is going to be a good choice, you know, a good starting point, at least for, you know, that sort of scent profile. Because I do think, at least in my opinion anyway, that the way that this comes across, it comes across as being a little bit more mass appealing than, you know, what the Byredo does anyway. All right. And then also, I mean, when it comes to the prices of these fragrances, that's a huge selling point, I would say, for the Paris Corner as well. I'll have a link in the description to, you know, where you can pick this one up at. But I believe the Paris Corner goes for like around $40 or so, and this is for a 100 ml bottle. Whereas the Black Saffron, I want to say for 100 ml goes for like around $300. So there's a huge difference in price. And even though I mentioned that the Black Saffron is better blended and it does smell slightly higher quality, that doesn't necessarily translate into this being the better smelling fragrance, you know, if that makes sense. So that is my take pretty much on this fragrance. If I were to give this a rating on, you know, a 1 to 10 scale, I would say that this is easily a 9. It really is. Like I said, this is a very sort of mass appealing, leathery, sort of slightly fruity, slightly sweet sort of fragrance. And that added sweetness and added freshness that you get from the citruses and the black currant in this fragrance, I think, you know, again, it makes it a really good choice for a lot of different situations. All right. So let me know, have you all smelled the Paris Corner fragrance, the Killer Oud Nights of Arabia? Have you smelled the Byredo Black Saffron? And what do you all think? Do you all agree with my assessment of how close this comes to Black Saffron? Also, do you like this particular scent profile? Do you hate it? Is it just okay? Let me know in the comments. And once again, if you're brand new to this channel, do me a favor, go ahead and subscribe. Also, I'll have my discount codes. I'll have all of those in the description, as well as where you can buy these fragrances from both the Paris Corner and the original. So definitely check that out. And once again, man, it's Jamar from Vegas Scents. I'll see y'all in the next video.